Hey there, sweet thing, and welcome to day 6 of A Kiss Beneath the Mistletoe. Today, I would like to encourage you to journal. Now, this doesn't have to be any particular technique or way of doing things. It's just a matter of getting things out of your head and into the world, because all those thoughts do is take up valuable computing space. And so that's what I want to talk to you about. How are you helping yourself to process your life? We've got this idea that journaling looks a particular way, that, it's only for the stationery geeks who completely lose their minds over wonderful books and fountain pens and all the paraphernalia that goes along with it. Or we think that it's all complete sentences that has to make sense, that you then save in some kind of archive for your family and friends to discover after you're gone. And although I am a self-confessed stationery geek, I fully acknowledge that this is not something that everybody gets excited about, whether it's the pens and the paper or the idea of journaling looking anything like that. So the first things I'd like to suggest, if you are not a person who enjoys the tactile feel of a pen in your hand and smooth paper beneath the pen, then that doesn't mean that journaling is not for you. Maybe you write things down by making lists. Maybe you speak to yourself as you're wandering through your daily round and have conversations out loud. I still maintain that this is a really valid form of journaling, because journaling at its core to me is having a conversation with yourself. And if you have that conversation out loud, I see that as doing exactly what this idea of journaling is there to do. So maybe you talk to yourself out loud. Maybe you record voice notes and then delete them because you don't want anybody else to have access to the ways that you process the things that you experience. That's how I do my journaling. Even though I like the nice paper and pens, I shred my journals when I get to the end. Partly because I'm writing them for me and not my nearest and dearest. I don't want them to read things after I'm dead that might change their opinion of the person that they knew. And so I physically get rid of them. The process to me is the point of journaling. Getting things from there onto the page in front of me so I can firstly see what I have to say, and then it's gone. It's no longer taking up this valuable real estate in my mind, and so it's done the thing it was intended to do. I don't want to refer to these journals years later, because it sort of seems like returning to a previous version of myself. And part of the process for me is being able to let go of the things that I don't need anymore. And sometimes that means only after writing about them for 6 months and nothing else. Sometimes writing about it once is all I need to move beyond that thing. So how do you do this thing if you've never journaled before? Well, I would say start with what you're comfortable with. Do you like to draw rather than write? Then keep a visual journal. It doesn't have to be processing emotions. It just has to be a way that you communicate with yourself, that you have to let off steam when things get too much or when they start to be overwhelming and you're stuck in place. You can do this by drawing or collaging or painting or expressing yourself in some creative way. Now, I maintain that writing is a very creative way of explaining the world to yourself. So that's the way that I choose to do it. But like I said before, you can write lists. Sometimes there's so much going on in my head, the idea of writing complete sentences is just ludicrous. So I make dot points. Maybe you've got a mathematical turn of mind and you'd like to express yourself in graphs or pie charts or some other less journal-like way of expressing yourself. As long as it makes sense to you, that's the only thing that matters. This is a process that we go through, not for anybody else's... Sorry, my cat's just come in and she's completely distracted me. Not for anybody else's comfort or understanding of what you're doing, but so that we can understand ourselves a little better. So it doesn't matter if you write one sentence again and again and again because it's something you want to embody in your life that you just don't seem to be making any progress on. You can write letters to people that you're grateful to or people that you still have strong feelings about that you need to express. There's that very old technique of if there's something that you don't want to carry into the future with you, write it all down and then burn the paper. You can bury it, you can let go of it in some other symbolic fashion. But we don't always have other people to talk to. And so this is kind of like a self-hug as well. It keeps the conduit open between ourselves and, say, our favourite version of ourselves that we might not be all the time. It keeps us honest with ourselves as well. And it says, I see what you did there and I'm calling you on it, or I see what you did there and that was kind, congratulations. It just lets us stay in communion with ourselves. It can be about interesting things that you're reading. It can be about strange ideas you had at 2 o'clock in the morning. It can be things that make you laugh. It can be things that make you cry. It can be anything you want it to be. Open your favourite book to a random page and pick a quote out at random and let that spark your journaling. It doesn't have to look a particular way. It doesn't have to be formal in any way. Express yourself in some physical fashion that allows you to explore the way you think and feel. And by keeping that conduit open, you're opening the door to greater self-knowledge, greater emotional resilience, and just being able to manage your emotions in a more skillful way. So I hope you enjoyed today's little peek into the tool of journaling. If you already journal, I'd love to hear about it, and if you're brand new, tell me about that too. Until tomorrow, keep it simple, sweetie, and mind how you go.